So earlier you said that these were science questions now, and that we should take some of these questions out of philosophy, out of religion,
Yes.
because they've been sort of distorted. And yet it seems like we're back there in philosophy, in religion, in what we make of what I would call spiritual experience here, because there's only so much that science can explain about these probably few hours after someone has died, has had cardiac arrest. And the question, obviously, is what happens to consciousness after that?
Well, again, I think we can only extrapolate what we've learned so far. But if you think about the way we perceive about death, so think about it. If you think of death here, and now you're degrading, what would you anticipate, based upon that model, that consciousness is produced by the brain, if people believe that, which is debated, of course, but if you believe that for a moment, what would you, as your brain function is degrading, what would you expect to happen to your consciousness? Would it become heightened and vast and more powerful than it's ever been in your normal living state? Or would it also become diminished and degraded? And the reality that we see is that in death, as I said, paradoxically, people's consciousness does not start to wither away. If anything, it becomes released more vast and more powerful than it has been. So it tells us something, which is that obviously human consciousness is a mystery. And the idea that it's simply produced by the brain and therefore dies when the brain is dying or dies is clearly questionable and not correct, in my opinion. And we've opened up a whole new vast and new frontier of scientific research. And so what it means is that we need to explore this question. And you talked about religion and philosophy and so on. Of course, science doesn't just own what happens when we die. People have thought about this for millennia, you know, from religious traditions to philosophical traditions, more recently psychologists, anthropologists, everyone's interested in this. Who isn't interested in this question, right? So the thing to realize, though, is that there is a new science, and it's not as people perceived, and it is not the end. And from what we can see, there's a whole vast new area that is being developed.